That dream that you have, that ideal reality you want to manifest, is not only possible, but it's also readily available for you. It is waiting for you to become the version of you who lives it. The reason why you haven't been able to perceive this reality yet, or to materialize it, or to collapse that timeline, is because there's something standing in between you and this reality. And that is the character that your ego has created. You, in essence, are already capable of becoming, of being that version of you who lives that reality. But you're still holding an identity that is not yours and it's not true. The moment you identify that identity and dismantle it, that's when you naturally manifest that reality you want to manifest. Because that reality that you want from your heart, that your soul knows is for you, that reality that is your highest path, is waiting for you not to become a better person, not to become someone else. It is just waiting for you to release what is not you, what is not authentic, what never belonged to you. We're talking about sets of limiting beliefs that come from fear and its derivatives such as scarcity, doubt, chaos, illness, etc. Those beliefs that are not your truth, but you learned to adopt because of your past, because of your upbringing, because of your lived experiences. You didn't come to this world thinking the way you think now, but based on your caretakers and the things you've experienced, you created a mask and you took this mask as yours, as your identity, and you've been operating not from your true self, not from the divinity within you, not from your soul, but from this mask. And at this point, you think you are that mask. Every time a voice tells you that you're not capable of something, that you're not the type of person who could achieve that dream that you have, that is not you. You are being lied to by this mask. And this mask has taken over. It's become the programming, right? It's the programming that's operating your reality. So you are not destined to a life of misalignment, of misery, of scarcity. You are just programmed. And today I'm going to explain to you the first step you can take to start deprogramming. We're not going to dive deep into changing limiting beliefs, into reprogramming the mind, into reprogramming your own energy. Those are deeper topics. Today, I'm going to give you a very practical step that you can take right now to start moving into the direction of your dreams. So, this reality you want to create is already here. And because the only time that exists is the now, the only moment that exists is the now, all of your potential exists in the now. This means that right now you have the chance to take a step that's going to take you closer to that dream that you have. Not tomorrow, not when you have more money, not when you have more time, not when you studied more, not when you have more connections, but now. The character, though, because it operates from fear, is telling you that you're not ready. Or probably it's even telling you that you're not even capable to not even try. But sometimes fear dresses up as logic or as responsibility or as caution, and it tells you not yet. And therefore, you haven't even started to make moves toward that dream because it simply feels like something that is not for you. Probably you're looking at that thing that secretly your heart wants. Probably it's writing a book, probably it's starting a podcast, probably it's becoming a content creator, becoming an artist, being a dancer, whatever it is. Probably you haven't even admitted that desire to yourself yet, but your heart knows, your heart always knows. And you're just telling yourself, I'm not the type of person who can live that life. That's not for me. Probably the character is telling you, nobody will want to read your book. Why would anyone want to follow you or watch your videos? Why would anyone want to hear you sing? Don't you know you are not good enough? Who do you think you are? Probably your ego is telling you, yes, we're going to work towards that dream, but when we have more money, when we have more time, when we have more energy, when we're less tired, when we're more inspired, when we learned more. So, your first step towards making your dream come true is to dismantle that lie and realize that right now you have the tools to take your first step towards your dream. So, this practical step is basically stop waiting. Scan your reality right now and decide what can you do right now to become the version of you who's living that dream reality. What can you do right now to become that I am, the version of you who's living that dream reality? What can you do now, today, to get closer to them? Let me give you an example. Right now, I'm 33 years old. Today, I woke up without knowing that I was going to start a podcast. And now I am on my couch randomly recording this podcast. I didn't have a plan to do this, but I felt like it and I did it. I'm 33 years old, like I said. I am a content creator and an online mentor, and I live a life I love. I have my dream job. I work in what I love. I get to create in my job. I work for myself. I get to travel. I get to communicate. I get to help people. I love what I do. But a year and a half ago, my reality was completely different. I was super lost. I didn't know what to do with my life. I was working as a yoga teacher living in San Diego. I wasn't making barely enough money to live on my own, but I had just gone through a breakup and I needed to move out of my boyfriend's apartment, and I was terrified because I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a YouTube channel. I didn't have a TikTok. I wasn't a content creator. I just had a personal Instagram where I posted none of the stuff I post today. But I knew that deep inside in my heart, there was a voice that was like, it would be awesome to be able to make money online, to be able to communicate and educate and help people. It would be awesome to be a YouTuber. It would be awesome to have a podcast. But I believed so little in myself because the character was so strong that it was always telling me, girl, who do you think you are? Nobody would want to listen to you. I remember my friends used to tell me, Addie, you should have a podcast. And I used to just tell them, are you crazy? Who would want to listen to me? Other friends would tell me, Addie, you should write a book, or Addie, you should give a TED talk. And I was like, who would ever be interested in listening to me? And back then, when I was lost, when I didn't know what to do, and I didn't even have a plan to become a content creator, I remember I took one step that was completely um, rare and out of the blue for me, which was I took a speech or voice techniques course. Like I started a course on speech or voice technique. It was kind of for like people who have a podcast and stuff like that. Why did I do that? Honestly, I didn't know because I was always so ashamed of my voice. I never thought I have a good voice. I remember whenever I would start dating someone, those first times that you're in the talking stage and you're like, "Hey, you want to hop on a call?" I was always a little ashamed because I didn't want the other person to hear my voice because I thought I didn't have a good voice. So, from that self concept to go and study speech and like voice training, that was really weird. But I decided to do that because I thought, well, I think one day I would like to have a podcast. So let me do that. And that was really out of my comfort zone because we had to do exercises. We had to like show people things, like speak in front of people. And I was ashamed because those people were paying attention to your voice, not to your oratory, not to how well you communicate, but to your voice. And that was definitely not my strength or my pride, And in fact, most people there were singers, so they had really good voice and voice techniques. And there I was with all of my shame. Anyway, the point is that I took a few classes and then I had to stop even because like I started a job as another yoga teacher job and I couldn't keep taking the classes because of my schedule. But the point is that a few months after that, I decided to start a TikTok. I started posting TikToks every day. I said, well, you know what? I think I want to be a content creator. So I asked myself, what should I do if I want to be a content creator? What can I do right now to be that content creator? What is something that I can do right now to be living the life that a content creator lives? And the answer was clear: make videos. What does a content creator do? They make videos. So even though I wasn't a creator yet, I decided to open a TikTok and I started posting TikToks every single day. It was extremely uncomfortable because I didn't have an audience. And the character, the fear, the ego would obviously tell me, just stop. Don't you see nobody is watching your TikToks and nobody cares? But there was a deeper part of me, I guess my heart, that really wanted this reality. And I didn't really have an option because I didn't have a job. So my option was to look for a 9 to 5. And I already knew what happens down that path. I already knew what happens when you look for a 9 to 5. You look for a 9 to 5, you get it, and then you're miserable because you are not doing what you love and you're not happy with what you're doing. You look for a 9 to 5 and you spend so much time and energy writing cover letters for jobs you don't even want to work. And when you get them, you're like, oh, here we go again. I hate that it's Monday. So I decided to do something different because I understood that if I want different results, I have to act differently. So I was going through a breakup. I had to move out of my boyfriend's apartment and I didn't know how I was going to pay for rent. So I decided I'm going to open a TikTok and I'm going to post TikToks every day and we'll see what happens. Did I do this looking at the third dimension? Did I do this looking at my conditions, at the real possibilities of suddenly having a business out of my TikTok, out of suddenly making money online? No, because if I had looked at that, I would have been extremely scared. What I looked at was at my identity because I knew that it is my identity that's creating my reality. So I decided, how can I change my identity to become that version of me who's living my dream reality? And that's when I had to overcome the character, because there was my character who I thought I was that was telling me again, you're crazy. Nobody will want to look at your TikToks. Nobody's even watching your TikToks. You're so cringe, right? And that's when I had to make the choice to believe in that ideal version of me more than I believed in my fear, more than I believed in my character. I'm going to say this again. I had to make the conscious choice of believing in my ideal self and ideal reality more than I was believing in my fears and my ego and my character who was telling me, you cannot do it. Now, what happens is that it's not just about believing. It's not just about, well, I believe I can do it. It is about taking action, because it is useless to believe in something if you're not going to act. Because if you believe in something, then you will act accordingly. So I decided to take that step and begin to post on TikTok daily. Within a month and a half, I went viral, I started my business, and now, a year and a half later, I have my business well established. I have my Instagram with my personal brand. I have my YouTube channel, which is my outlet for creativity, and I love it. And suddenly, on a random Sunday, I sat on my couch and I thought, you know what? I'm going to start recording a podcast, and I can do it because of the reality I created. When I stopped listening to the character and I started listening to the voice of my soul without thinking of the fears. So when I look back at the version of me who decided to take that speech class, that voice training class, I realized what I was doing. I was following my heart, and I was taking a first step towards tonight without even knowing. Not because tonight my voice will be better because of that course that I took. No, I literally only took 2 classes. Probably it wasn't even very useful. But at an energetic level, it is so important that I decided to invest in that class my money, my time, my energy, because that, me deciding to take that class that day, was an identity level choice. It was me telling the universe, I believe that one day I will be doing something with my voice. I believe there's a better future for me than just working 9 to 5s. And guess what? There was. The universe was waiting for me to open the door to that path. Sometimes doors are not open for us, not because they are not there, but because we don't even want to look at them, because we're only looking at our present and our future from our past. And that's why we keep recreating the same and the same, because we don't decide I am. We live from I was. Because I always worked in 9 to 5s. Then I decide that's my only possibility. And I don't even allow myself to look at the possibility of having a podcast or being a content creator. But the moment I start softening my heart and allowing myself to believe that maybe there's something better for me, and I take that first step, even if that first step is taking a voice training that I will end up having to drop out of anyway, that is an identity level choice. That is, I believe. So, your practical step towards your dreams today is take action. Take that first step. Right now, there's a step that you can take that will take you closer to your dreams. There is a step right now, again, not tomorrow when you have time, not when you have money, not when you are more in shape, not when you are more educated. Right now, there's a step. So scan your reality and identify it. If you cannot find it, ask the divinity within you, command the divinity within you, your subconscious mind, that part of you, that infinite intelligence within you that knows how to heal a wound when you need healing, that knows how to digest food, that keeps you breathing while you're sleeping, that part of you already knows what step you need to take. So don't even think that you're alone in this, because you, again, are a fractal of Source. You are a fractal of the infinite intelligence that created it all, that gives life to it all. That part of you already knows what your next step is. So identify a step and take it. And you don't need to know how this step is gonna take you to where you're going. You just need to trust that that identity level choice that you're making by taking this step, and then tomorrow another step, and then next week another step, will be enough. It serves you. If I go back a year and a half to when I was broke and lost and didn't have a purpose and didn't know what to do with my life, and I ask that version of me, hey, how is this voice training going to help you find a purpose? Because, mind you, I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I was not planning on becoming a content creator or opening a YouTube channel. I just thought it would be nice. So, you know what? Let me do something different, because I am so fed up with my life that I'm going to try something different. When I allowed myself to take a completely different step, my life, my reality began to respond to me with completely different results. But that version of me didn't know, okay, how is this gonna help you? How taking this voice training will help you in any ways? If anyway, you don't even have a podcast, you don't even have a TikTok, you don't even have a YouTube channel, you're not even planning on having all of those. Shouldn't you start a YouTube channel before you even think of going and taking a voice training, a speech training, whatever? You see, the character could have told me a million things back then. But I decided to take a step that was aligned, that was faithful, without knowing how this step was going to take me to the results that I wanted, but just for the identity level choice. After that step, I took another one, right? I will open my TikTok. After that step, I took another one. I will post a TikTok every single day, no matter how I feel. After that step, I took another one. I will open a YouTube channel. And like that, after a series of aligned steps that I took in faith, faith in my ideal reality, I ended up creating the life of my dreams. Because this job that I have right now, this that I do, and the life that I live right now, I wouldn't have believed it was possible for me. I wouldn't have believed you if you told me a year and a half ago, hey, in a year and a half, you will be your own boss. You will be making more than enough. You will be traveling. You will be creating content. You will have an audience. People will thank you for changing their lives. I wouldn't have believed you. The life I ended up manifesting as a result of taking steps even when I didn't know how they were gonna take me to my destination is even better than I could have imagined, because that's how the universe works. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have all the resources. You have to do what you can with the tools you have right now. You have to decide to begin to taking identity level choices that align with that dream that you have. When you begin to do that, the character that stands between you and that reality begins to dissolve, because this character that exists between you and the reality you want to create is not real, it's an illusion. Think of it as smoke. It's a smoke that looks solid. But when you start taking action, aligned action, and identity level choices that prove to yourself that you are capable, then that fear begins to dissolve because it was never real. The reason why right now you don't think you can is because you haven't even allowed yourself to take action that shows your brain, that proves to your brain that you can. So, this is your first step. Take action. What can you do right now that confirms the identity, the I am of the version of you that's living your dream reality? Ask them, visualize the version of you who's living your dream reality, and ask them, what did you do in your past when you were me to get to where you are? And they will respond. So scan your reality, identify one step that you can take in that direction, and then go and take it. Fear will take you to tell you not to do it. It should be uncomfortable enough that there's a part of you that really doesn't want to do it. If it's uncomfortable, it's a good sign. If it doesn't feel uncomfortable, if it doesn't feel scary, then most likely it's more of the same. So take a step that takes you into the unknown. And I promise you, as you take the first step, the universe will begin to show you the path. That's how it works. You take one step, and the universe shows you a little bit of the path, or it shows you the next one, or it brings the next opportunity, the next person, the next guidance. You don't have to see the whole path. You just have to trust and begin to walk. All right, this is apparently the first episode of my podcast, which I decided that I was going to create probably 15 minutes ago. I hope you liked it. Let me know in my social media what steps you're taking. Please leave comments if you watch this on YouTube or whatever you're listening to this. Honestly, I don't even know where I'm going to post this because I just decided to record it, but you know how to contact me. Let me know what step you're taking. I get really happy and I feel a lot of joy when you guys share with me your process. This is why I do this. So please feel free to let me know what step you're taking and where you're heading. And always also know that the destination may change, and that's okay. Whatever step you take right now towards the destination you think you want will take you closer to where you should be, regardless. Because if that's not the direction, then you will get a redirection, but you cannot get the redirection if you don't even start walking. Okay, so get on the path. And okay, follow me on my socials. Instagram is cosmicari_, and then YouTube and TikTok, cosmicari. Let me know what first step you take, and you'll hear me again around here soon. Thank you for listening. I love you.